I didn't plan to learn English. It wasn't one of those heroic decisions where someone wakes up and says, "Today I will change my life." It started quietly, almost accidentally, like a background noise that slowly becomes music. When I was younger, English was just another school subject. It lived inside dusty textbooks filled with strange sentences like, "The cat is on the table, and Ali goes to the market." I memorized words the way you memorize passwords, without meaning, without feeling. I passed exams, forgot everything, and moved on. At that time, English felt distant, foreign, like something that belonged to other people in other places. But things began to change in the most unexpected way. Boredom. One summer I found myself with too much free time and nothing interesting to do. Out of curiosity, I opened a video online, something simple, something random. It was in English. I didn't understand much, maybe a few words here and there. But I kept watching. At first it was frustrating. The words moved too fast. The sentences felt like puzzles with missing pieces. I had to pause every few seconds, rewind, and guess what was being said. It felt like trying to drink water with a fork. But something strange happened. Instead of giving up, I became curious. Why did certain words repeat? Why did people say gonna instead of going to? Why did sentences sound different from what I learned in school? That curiosity pulled me in. I started watching more videos, then movies, then short clips. I didn't understand everything, but I understood more than before. Slowly, without realizing it, my brain started recognizing patterns. I wasn't studying anymore. I was absorbing. At some point, I noticed something surprising. I could understand entire sentences without translating them in my head. It was like my brain had stopped asking for permission and just knew. That was the first real breakthrough. But understanding was only half the journey. Speaking was a different story. The first time I tried to speak English out loud, it felt unnatural. My tongue didn't cooperate. My sentences were broken. I hesitated between every word. It was embarrassing, even when I was alone. Still, I kept going. I talked to myself, yes, literally. I would describe what I was doing. I am opening the door. I am drinking water. I am thinking about what to say next. It felt silly at first, but it helped. I wasn't afraid of making mistakes because no one was there to hear them. Later, I started writing. Short sentences at first, then longer ones, then full paragraphs. I made mistakes, many mistakes, but each one taught me something. Slowly, my thoughts began to organize themselves in English instead of my native language. That was another turning point. Then came the hardest part, using English with other people. It was terrifying. What if they didn't understand me? What if I sounded stupid? What if I made a mistake and they laughed? For a long time, those fears held me back. But eventually I realized something important. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. People are busy. People are kind. And most people actually respect you for trying. So I tried. The first conversations were awkward. I searched for words. I paused too much. Sometimes I gave up halfway through a sentence. But every conversation made the next one easier. Little by little, the fear disappeared. And something even more powerful replaced it. Confidence. Not perfect confidence, but enough to keep going. Over time, English stopped being a subject. It became a tool, a door, a way to access ideas, cultures, stories, and people I would have never reached otherwise. I could watch anything, read anything, learn anything. The world felt bigger, and I felt more connected to it. Looking back now, I realize I never truly learned English in the traditional sense. I didn't master it through rules or memorization. I grew into it, through curiosity, through mistakes, through patience, through persistence. It wasn't fast, it wasn't easy, but it was real. And maybe that's the most important part, because learning a language isn't just about words and grammar. It's about becoming someone who is not afraid to try, to fail, and to keep going anyway. That's how I learned English.